Hey, I wanted to talk about Lumien Pro for a moment. It's a really neat option to your Lumien modules. So you have Lumien Core, which is going to be your static wattages, 3.5 watt, 5.5 watt, 1.5 watt, depending on the size of the module. So you have nano, micro, and macro, all the way up to 10 watts. With a Lumien Pro, you get some extra features. So there's options, for instance, in this macro module, we have not only RGB capabilities, but also CCT capabilities, so we can adjust the Kelvin temperature right here with this controller. So it's RF system, so you don't have to have a Bluetooth connection, you don't have to worry about a Wi-Fi connection, it's point and click. I'm gonna run through a couple really neat features with this and hopefully gives you guys a good idea of how this system works. First of all, one remote it's a utility remote. So you can have 100 fixtures, 200, you give 1,000 fixtures on a job, it doesn't matter. They'll all respond to the same remote. Opposite of that, if you're a service tech and you have a remote, this will work on any fixture on any job. So it's not necessarily tied to any particular fixture, it just works with the Lumien Pro line. What I'm gonna show you here, this is a module that has the RGB and CCT capabilities. So I'm gonna set it right now, it is set on 2730 Kelvin temperature. I don't know if the camera will pick this up, but as I hold this up, I'm at 3200, 3400, 35, 36, 3700 Kelvin temperature. I'm going up 4000 Kelvin temperature, approaching 4500. And as I'm adjusting that, you'll see the LED is becoming cooler and cooler and cooler all the way up to 5700 Kelvin temperature. Now that's important because different plant material, whether it's dark greens, light greens, pinks, purples, you name it, you don't always want to just put the same Kelvin temperature on every single plant out there. You kind of have a tendency to make it look flattened out and dead. So having adjustable Kelvin temperatures is pretty cool. Now let's say you're an installer and you want to adjust this to where your Kelvin temperature on this particular fixture is set at 4000 K. Maybe you have an evergreen or something out there and you want to make that thing pop. So we're going to go to 4000 Kelvin temperature. On the remote, and by the way, all I was using was this little up and down arrows here to be able to make those adjustments. I'm gonna go now and say, okay, at 4000 Kelvin temperature, this is gonna be where I want this light 90% of the time, other than when I wanna change to a color. So I'm gonna use a little save feature, little hard disk over here on this button. I'm gonna hold it on there. Light turned off, it flashes. That means that that setting is now saved. So if I go and I change this now on my RGB options, if I go to red, green, blue, different shades of pinks and teals and red, you know, all these different options here, okay? I can change all those options. I can not only change those options, but I can also hit the dimming feature of the remote. And if I want to dim this down from 100%, again, sometimes when we're filming things like this, the cameras have a tendency to correct themselves. So I'm not sure if you're seeing this or not, but I'm down to 10% right now. And I can raise it back up. And any color combination, any Kelvin temperature setting I want, completely adjustable. When I'm done with this, maybe I have this changed to red for Valentine's Day. And if I set it here, it'll just turn on and off automatically on this setting until I tell it to do something different. Remember earlier I saved 4000 Kelvin temperature as my main setting. So no matter what I've done with this fixture or this module, all I have to do is hit this little back arrow button, and that goes right back to your initial setting so that as an installer or a designer, everything goes back to how you intended for it to be installed for the majority of the time. You really can't screw this up, folks. The Lumien Pro is just a fantastic option. It's very reasonable and it's reliable. That's the number one thing, reliability. So sick and tired of having to deal with, you know, different settings and Wi-Fi and this and that. If you don't have those capabilities, or maybe you're outside of those capabilities as far as not being on the property with Wi-Fi or Bluetooth devices, not having the right app, a remote's where it's at. Very simple, straightforward. That's Lumien Pro in a nutshell. Contact us for more information. We'd love to teach you more about this awesome system.